The first verse, yeah, just monitor, that'll be good, thank you. Proverbs 30, verses 24 through 28. I want to read that first, and then Proverbs 6. Proverbs 30. If I'm going slow, it's because I did a breathing treatment. And I'm drowsy right about now. But
hanging now, Pastor.
I have to preach a whole bunch of stuff other than being drowsy. Amen. Proverbs 30. Verses 24 through 28, and really zeroed in on verse 25 of that psalm. Proverbs 30, verses 24 through 28. There be four things which are little on earth, but they are exceedingly wise. Yes. And here they are. All right. The ants are a people not strong, yet they prepare their meat in the sun. Well, the cliff badgers are but a feeble folk, yet make their houses in the rocks. Yes, sir. The locusts, now this was really have no ruler, no king, no leader, yet they go forth, all of them by bands.
Stand together.
And then the spider taketh hold with her hands and is in every king's house.
Not if I got some rain.
And I want to zero in on that verse 25. The ants are a people not strong, yet they prepare their meat in the sun. Go back to Proverbs chapter 6, verses 6 through 11. And Solomon says this to us. Go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her way, and be wise. Now check this out about the ant. Having no guide, overseer, or ruler, but provides meat in the summer and gathereth her food in the harvest. So how long will you sleep, O sluggard? When wilt thou arise out of thy sleep?
My goodness.
Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. So shall thy poverty come as one that travaileth, and thy want as an armed man.
My goodness.
I want to put a tag on this text this morning and talk about an ant's life. Ant's life. You may be seated in the house of the Lord. Turn and tell your neighbor this morning, if you're not too mean, go ahead and look at somebody and tell them, neighbor, this morning, Pastor's going to talk about an ant's life. Let's give the Lord a amen and praise. Talk this morning upon the subject, an ant's life.
Go ahead now. Liking that.
Not all things progressive are learned in a classroom.
Right.
Solomon tells us there are four small things upon the earth that can teach us a thing or two about how to live smart and how to survive the odds, because these 4 things are very wise. Do I have a witness here?
Yeah.
He says the ant. He speaks of the ant. In verse 25 of Proverbs 30, because they prepare their meat in the summer, though they are not strong. In other words, they are diligent creatures in preparing for the future. In other words, they stay at the task at hand.
Yes, sir.
Hammering. And so he says, listen, you and I can learn a lot about survival, and we can live a whole lot smarter if we just take the time to observe the ant.
Well,
Yes.
Then he talks about in Proverbs 30 a critter called the cliff badger.
wow.
You can Google that and they'll show you pictures. But he talks about the cliff badger. Proverbs 30 and 26, because they prepare, or rather they build houses in the rocks, though they are delicate. What are you talking about, preacher? What is Solomon talking about? These small critters, they are shrewd creatures in protecting themselves from danger.
Yes.
Though they are delicate, though they are small, though they are not strong, they specialize in learning how to stay out of trouble.
Yes, sir.
All right.
You're going to catch that one on the way home. Amen. Some of us, we are where we are because we don't simply know how to stay out of
Yes, sir.
trouble. Tell you, maybe you'll get somewhere if you just learn how to stay out of trouble.
All right.
Matter of fact, tap yourself and say, stay out of trouble. Stay out of trouble. You'll get somewhere. You'll get somewhere. And so, it not only talks about the ant, not only talks about the cliff badger, but Proverbs 30 and 27, he talks about the locusts.
Yeah.
Because though they have no leader, and this is what tripped me out, Pastor Rosette.
I hear you.
Though they have no ruler, though they have no overseer, though they have no boss, they know how to stay together.
My Lord.
Nobody has to tell them, get it together. Nobody has to tell them to stay in sync. Amen. They are harmonious creatures and accomplish more together.
Yeah.
All right.
And the locust suggests the idea, here's the lesson. Locust suggests the idea that you will need others to survive.
I hear you, Doc.
That's a good lesson there. I'm not talking about locusts today, but that's a good lesson to learn from. Then last but not least, Proverbs 30 and 28, he talks about the spider. Because, watch this, the spider, they are found everywhere. Even so far, text says, as being in the king's palace.
Yeah.
I don't care where you move to.
Don't have a spider.
Amen. I don't care how beautiful the community you live in.
They get away from
You don't only find spiders in the ghetto,
Yes, sir.
but you find all sorts of spiders and roaches. And even in the king's palace, though they are easy to catch and kill, watch this, here it is, they are flexible creatures and know how to survive. Wow. So the lesson behind the spider, I wish I was preaching that this morning, is that we've got to learn how to roll with the punches. All right. Do I have a witness here? But then Solomon, back over yonder in Proverbs 6:6, he tells us, or rather chapter 6, he tells us, listen, I'm not talking this morning about the cliff badger, I'm not talking about locusts, I'm not going to talk about the spider, but he wants us to zero in specifically. In fact, he dedicates an entire chapter to the ant. And he says, he tells us to observe the ant and be what? Wise. Have that witness here. There are several lessons. There are several lessons in which to observe as we look at an ant's life, because as we embark upon our various ambitions, and as we embark upon an attempt to achieve our numerous of short range and long range goals, Solomon says, you know, there's nothing necessarily wrong with that type of living, but we've got to know how to live smart, and we've got to learn how to survive if we're going to refrain from living sluggard lives, if we're going to be a people that wants to reach for the best, reach for the stars, then you don't do that at the expense of killing other ants.
All right, John.
I wish I had a witness here. How many of us, we